Welcome back, YouTube family. I know y'all need some deep healing.
Love you.
I'm Kamara, and I'm here to talk to y'all about DMT today. It's a little gnat or something by me. All right, so we're talking DMT. First of all, if you guys are new to the channel, my channel is about all things healing, and I mean all things healing. So we're talking about a powerful psychedelic that has really helped me in my healing and just spiritual journey altogether. So we're talking DMT, dimethyltryptamine. What is it? So dimethyltryptamine is in everything. It's in animals, it's in humans, it's in plants, it's in grass. It's in grass that's found in North America. It's called reed canary grass, and then also harding grass. It's everywhere, but it's the most illegal substance, like everywhere. I think DMT is legal in when I was researching it heavy in 2016, it was it was only legal in 2 countries. So, what does DMT do? So DMT basically opens up the pineal gland. So we naturally all have DMT. DMT releases when you're born, when you die, and when people have near-death experiences. And of course, if you take DMT. So when people who have near-death experiences are like, oh, my life flashed before my eyes, or people who what do you say? Like they're in a coma or something, and they come out and they're like, oh, I went to the other side. Like they're having huge releases of DMT. So DMT starts releasing during that death is on your ass process. So why is DMT so illegal? I believe there are entities here that do not want us to access higher versions of ourselves, and they don't want us to know, that we're much more powerful than this human piece of flesh. So also something that was really interesting, in 2013, researchers found DMT in the pineal gland of mice. So DMT is naturally in the pineal gland. It's super important for you to decalcify your pineal gland. If you have a calcified pineal gland and there's just that buildup there, not saying that DMT won't work for you, but a lot of times when I tell people about my psychedelic experiences, they've always been very spiritual for me. And other people are like, oh, I don't have those type of experiences. And it started making me wonder, I wonder if they have a calcified pineal gland. So I started, actively decalcifying my pineal gland in 2015. I got really health conscious, went cold turkey vegan, stopped drinking, stopped smoking, I just went cold turkey. I was on a health, journey like crazy. I learned about Dr. Sebi and how the foods that we eat are basically contributing to our downfall. So I just wanted, a clean vessel. So the sink water that, people drink, I would encourage you to not drink sink water, or if you are gonna drink sink water, then just invest in a Berkey filter. I just bought one. I'll put the link in the description box for you guys, but it's only, I think I paid maybe between $300 and $400, but it gets like in California, they have chloramine in the water. Most places, the sink water is gonna have fluoride in it. Even when I go to the dentist, I'm good on fluoride treatment, trying to keep my pineal gland, nice and healthy. So yeah, you may have to decalcify your pineal gland, just drink alkaline or at least neutral plus water, and don't drink water with fluoride in it and chloramine and all these, things that are gonna basically make you unhealthy. So I learned about DMT in 2015, and again, I have to put this disclaimer out. I am not a person who does drugs. I've never done cocaine or ecstasy or Molly or the pills. I've never, even when I had knee surgery, I didn't even take the Percocet. I'm like, I'm good, I'll just deal with the pain. That's just kind of how I am. So when I learned about DMT, I'm like, what? It opens your pineal gland. Like, I know what the pineal gland is. Like, I need DMT, and I just started manifesting it in my life. It was literally saved on my desktop, like bookmark. It was the first one for 4 years until it manifested in my life. So even though, you know, these things are illegal and you can manifest these things in your life. You can go to Mexico, you can go to Peru. They're doing like, you know, the Bufo and the 5 MEO there. So there are different places you can go to experience DMT. It's just, are you really committed? Are you gonna take that trip? Are you gonna go? You know what I mean? Are you gonna save the money up? Like, how bad do you want this? So I did mine with a shaman, and you know, just being a healer and being in the healing community, it's been a blessing for me. I don't even see myself getting out of the healing, because just meeting other healers and shamans and learning from these people is like, it's just been like gratitude source. So gratitude to all the healers. Y'all know who y'all are. Everyone I've ever worked with, y'all are freaking amazing, except for this one lady. She was like a fraud and she took my money. She could F off. But so I'm doing the DMT with my shaman. So I take my first hit. You like smoke it out of like the pipe that you would use to smoke weed or whatever. So you light the DMT and you take a hit, and it's almost like, imagine your consciousness being a ball, like the ball of a slingshot, and somebody cocks it back and it's just like, so your consciousness just takes off and you're like, boom, out of this dimension instantly. It's not like mushrooms. Like mushrooms, it takes like maybe an hour for it to come on, and it's a long process. DMT is quick. It's like, you take a hit, you feel it, and in 10 minutes you're out. And it may not feel like 10 minutes while you're in there, but you come out pretty quick. So, and then I journal all of this. So I'll be looking at my journal too, because I don't want to leave anything out for you guys. So I take my first hit and it's like, boom, I take off. So it's similar to psilocybin, where it's different though. Okay, so everything started off just black, and then it started like the mandalas and the sacred geometry it was like they started peeking out, and then they just started coming out in abundance, and they were like not solid. You know how the mandalas are. They're like different neon little slits and shapes. So boom, they're just coming out super, super quick. And then I got super hot. I always get super hot when I'm, interacting with psychedelics. So I get super hot. Y'all know I like to get naked. So I'm like, I really want to get naked, but the shaman's right here. Like, I wonder if they will mind. But I'm like, whatever, just focus on this experience. So I just kept breathing. Taking deep breaths is going to be huge if you ever do DMT. So I just keep breathing. And then boom, it's like I go into my body and I can see my makeup. If you could imagine going inside of a computer system and being able to see everything, it was like that. So I'm like inside of my own body, and I can see where there are like distortions and certain frequencies. Like, I can just tell things were off. When I went into my uterus, it was crazy. Like, my uterus was flipped. It was like not in its proper position. So I like moved it. You know what I mean? That's why I say you can do healing work. Like, I was healing myself during this process. So I like tilted back, and then I have something called polycystic ovarian syndrome. So a lot of women, especially Black women, suffer from PCOS. A lot of people close to me, which is crazy, like people that are super, super close to me, I won't say who they are, but also have PCOS. And I'm like, how the hell do we all have this? I think it was the chemicals and the relaxers, but who knows? But anywho, so I have PCOS, and if you don't know what that is, it's a lot that goes on with PCOS, but it's like you have a ton of cysts inside the ovaries, and the cysts are not problematic. They're pretty small, but they just burst. They're always bursting on their own. So it's a lot happening in the uterus of a woman who has PCOS. So I'm in my uterus and it looks like an old warehouse, like with just leaky pipes everywhere. Like I can just describe it, that there's leaky pipes everywhere. So I'm like, okay, I'm like patching up the pipes, and then I'm just like, scratch this whole room. I shift the room. I replace that image with an image of an all white room. I'm actually going to do a meditation soon and go back into that space. And like the way this space is decorated with, you know, plants everywhere, I'm gonna redecorate that space. But I make it this beautiful all white room. If y'all know me, y'all know I can decorate. So I love to decorate. So there's this all white room. It's like a beautiful, there's like windows for the roof basically. So you can see outside, you know, see into the universe. So it's like this room and then above it is the universe. So I just replace that image and then boom, I come out. So I'm like, I gotta go back in, you know. So I take another hit because I'm like, I'm ready to go back in. So the same thing happened. Basically, I got super hot. And then, you know, I started seeing the shapes and the colors again, but this time was a lot smoother. Like the first time, it'll take your breath away because it literally is like your consciousness goes, and then you're just not in this dimension anymore. It is super fast. Like, it's interesting. So this time was smoother. So I start seeing the mandalas again, but this time they're really quick. I'm also seeing a ton of Egyptian symbols, just old symbols, but they're all going way too quick. Like I cannot really make out what it is. So I start seeing imagine seeing like a million faces. And then I was like in this space where these beings were in like white coats or white robes, and they were like with souls. There was like a ton, it was like a room, like a big ass room. And they were like with the souls, and they're like annotating what the souls are picking out for like their characteristics for human world or wherever they were going. I don't even know where everyone was going, but it's like, you know, they're picking out their characteristics and they're putting them inside of a Metatron's cube. Now, I told my friend about this experience. She knows, I don't think she's really into spiritual shit like that. So she was just kind of like, okay, but she's very open-minded. So, and you know, you can't talk to spiritual stuff with your old friends. Like, you gotta have new friends. Your old friends are gonna think you're batshit crazy, or your family, like, they just don't understand. They're probably stuck in religion or some type of, you know, whatever they choose. So, but you know, you have every now and then those open-minded people. So this is like, I love you, Kiyomi. Like, this is one of my open-minded friends. So I'm telling her about this experience, and when I get to this part where I'm telling her like that these souls are like picking out their characteristics, and she didn't even know what a Metatron's cube was, but if you guys know, so she goes, Kamara, have you ever seen the movie Soul? And I'm like, no, never heard of it. I'm not really a movie or TV person. So I like to read books, or I just stay to myself, play music. I'm in nature, you know, or with my plants, like being a plant mom, animal mom, real mom. So, I'm like, no, I never heard of it. And she was like, you shitting me. And I'm like, no. I'm like, why? And she's like, literally everything that you're describing is in this movie Soul. And I'm like, for real? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, but it's a kid's movie. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, it's like a kid's movie and Jamie Foxx is in it and da-da-da. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I'll watch it. And the movie is spot on. Like, if you really want a basic level of understanding of what spirit world is and like spirituality in general, watch the movie Soul. Y'all know they have to tell you things in movies, and most people or the general public is gonna go right over their head, but there is a lot to reveal in the movie Soul. So yeah, these beings are there. Like I said, my friend didn't know what a Metatron's cube is, but in the movie, they have their Metatron's cube, what is it, 22? It has its Metatron's cube, and it's literally picking its characteristics. So I'm seeing this. I've never seen the movie Soul at this point. So it almost to me looked like a video game. So at this point, I started trying to control my trip. Like, I started trying to go where I wanted to go, because for me, I have so many questions. I'm like, universe, I'm here. What's up? Like, I'm trying to know what's up. So I start trying to control the trip, and then it's like everything goes black. So I'm just in this black space. And I don't scare easy. I'm not a person that's like, I'm afraid to know the truth. I'm like, I want to know the truth. I want to go right into the belly. Like, I want to know. So I'm like, you know, going through the dark, and then this huge gorilla comes out, and he's just going like this. He's like slowly flinging me. It's almost like a ping pong, like, and I'm just sliding back. So after 3 times of that, I'm like, okay, I think he's trying to tell me to stop trying to control the trip. So I take a deep breath, and I'm like, let go. So I let go, and then the gorilla disappears. Now, I'm like in the universe now. And the sun, I can see the sun. I could barely see the earth. The earth was like a period. Okay, the sun was like the size of the marbles that we used to play with when we were kids. The poor kids, y'all know what's up. We didn't have toys, we just had marbles. So they were like the size, it was literally like the size of like a medium-sized marble that you used to play with, right? So this voice starts speaking to me, and it's like, you have no idea how big the universe is. And I didn't say anything back, and the voice was like, turn around. And I started turning around, and I could just see like infinite darkness, you know, and I guess when I was looking at the sun and how small it was, it kind of started putting into perspective for me, like, how minute I am, right? So then I felt like the universe, like I had that thought, and then it's like the universe was like, there is no I. Like, get this concept out of your head. There is no I. It's we, and it just like kept saying we. So that happened. So I'm out again. And I'm like, am I gonna go back in? And I'm like, I'm going back in. So I go back in, I take a 3rd hit. I'm like Mike Tyson. Y'all have to look up, I'm gonna put the links in the description box where Mike Tyson talks about his experience with DMT. Now, he took 5 MEO DMT. So there's different levels to DMT. I just took normal synthetic DMT. He took, it's called the toad. So they extract it from toad venom. Like I said, like literally everything that's living has DMT in it. We are the universe. It just is what it is. So, but he talks about how DMT changed his life. That's why I say it's an amazing healer. Like, he said he stopped doing cocaine. He's been addicted to cocaine for however long. He said he stopped doing all drugs. He said he'll never cheat on his wife again. Like, stopped hanging out with like effed up people. So it will just change you for the better. I mean, you really get a sense of the oneness of the universe. So I'm gonna put the links for those videos in the description box for y'all. So, but I brought him up because there was an interview with Tony Robinson, and he asked him what he did after he smoked the DMT, and he goes, so I took another hit. And that's how I was. I'm like, all right, I'm taking another hit. So I take another hit, and I could not even put the DMT down before my consciousness took off. It was like reality evaporated. It was like I actually dropped the pipe, and I was trying to hurry up and get it down because I can feel like this slingshot type of energy like coming on strong, right? So I hit it, boom. I'm trying to put the pipe down. I can't even do it. The pipe falls, and I'm out again. So this time, the symbols are coming at me hard. Like they're just coming at me hard. And I was lying down like a kitten. You know, I don't know. It's something for me about the fetal position. That is like when I feel so safe and like comfortable is in the fetal position. So a lot of times when I have these strong, maybe because it's such a vulnerable position, but when I have like interactions with the deities, a lot of times when I'm on psychedelics, I'm usually in the fetal position. That just kind of hit me. So as I'm reading my journal back, so I'm in the fetal position. I'm lying like, you know, like a little kitten or something, but I'm lying in the fetal position, and I'm near this huge statuesque figure. I cannot even see past the knees. Like the statue is so big. So I'm lying down like toward the feet of this statuesque figure. And he just started telling me all these things. Now, I did a meditation before I got on here and asked, was it okay to share some of these things? And I got a yes. So I'm going to share some of these things. So he was telling me, don't stress about time or being late. He's like, why do humans stress so much about time? It's just such a human, you know, made up concept. All things universally are happening at the same time. Why do you think the Aboriginals, when they're invited to something, they show up whenever they want to show up? He's like, you know, stop stressing about time. So Black people, you know, they try to say we on CPT or BPT, Black people time, colored people time. Okay, we're not wrong. We just naturally, you know, connected to the universe like that. So don't stress about time. So he told me don't stress about time. He's telling me time isn't linear. This is just a human concept. Every bit of creation or thought is in your head, or at least has the potential to develop, and thoughts resonate based on frequency. So thoughts are not your own. They jump from person to person. He was telling me we must continue creating and developing no matter what. And then he said this to me 3 times very sternly: save the children. So that was super powerful. And then he, again, so now I'm back in this space where souls are like picking out their characteristics, and I'm just observing. You know, it was almost like I'm floating above and I can hear this voice speaking to me, and I'm just observing. And he's like, there is no you. We are all one. We are all made up of the same thing. We are all God and have the ability to fine-tune reality, whatever that may be. All of it matters, yet none of it matters as long as it comes back to evolution. We must evolve and continue to evolve. And then I asked him something personal, and he basically told me to be of the world. I won't share what I asked him, but he told me to be a woman of the world. And then it's like, boom, I come out and I'm like super hazy, like slow to get up, you know? And I just started journaling. I wasn't even thinking about anything. I was just it was almost like that energy was still flowing through me, and I was just writing down all of these notes that, you know, this energy gave me. And then I went for a walk because I needed some breath. I needed the air, or gratitude to the element of air. I needed some air. So I'm just breathing. And you know how when you are on psychedelics, it's like you can telepathically interact and communicate with, like, well, I don't know if any of y'all know this or have experienced this. Share if you've experienced something like this. Please share it in the comments. I want to know. Like, I always want to know people's stories. But there was a squirrel, you know, playing on a tree, and it's like the squirrel stopped, and I was just staring at the squirrel, and we just had like a beautiful, loving moment and interaction. There was like no fear. I really believe that the animals and the plants instantly know when your consciousness is elevated. Like, they know, like, oh, I can communicate with her now. They literally know. Like, I've had trees wave to me, and this isn't only on, like, during psychedelic trips. for my birthday, I went to Sequoia National Park, and when we drove through the branches on the leaves were literally all going like this. Like as we were driving, more and more of them would start doing it. So you can totally, and I love plants. I mean, I have an earth thumb. I just do. I'm grateful for it. It's not for me. It's some gift that came from source. So I love the plants and they love me. So yeah, that was my DMT experience. Share an experience. I know I haven't really met many people that have done DMT, so I've just seen YouTube videos. So if you've done DMT, please let me know, or if you're interested in doing DMT, I'll put the link for, there's a company that, they're in Peru, they're Peru based, but I know a couple people that have done ayahuasca, and a friend who was supposed to go, he learned a lot of this stuff from me and was super interested and booked a trip to Peru and was gonna go, and he's like, I'm going right in, I'm going straight for the toad. And so there's levels, like they call DMT, or they call regular synthetic DMT the spirit molecule, and they call 5-MEO DMT the toad, they call that the God molecule. So it's like different experiences, different levels of consciousness that you can reach. So he booked this trip, and then COVID happened, and I don't think he ended up going on the trip, but he did give me the company, or wherever he was going. So I'll put that in the description box for you guys too. Also, there's one more thing I want to share with y'all. I can't think of it. So if I think of it, I'll say it before we go. But if you guys like this video, please. And if you know someone who's into this type of thing, if you know someone who's on a spiritual path, who hasn't been programmed into being scared of this type of thing, please share this with them. We need to get this out. And I'll say this too, after I did DMT, I'm like, fuck coffee. Like, people should take just one hit, like one hit. People should take a hit of DMT every day. It's like, oh, I'm, universal oneness. Like, how can you walk around upset when you're like, oh, I'm one with this person. I am. You just feel this interconnectedness and this divine love. It's like, who wouldn't want a hit of that every morning? But DMT is something that you really only need it one time. People have recovered from drug addiction from doing DMT one time. I look into Mike Tyson's story about DMT. He praises DMT, and so do I. I am not going to be afraid to talk about these things or not share these things because of what people might think. I know the power of these plants and herbs, period. I mean, if you've been to my house, I do some things. There's herbs everywhere, but these are powerful, powerful energies. You're not better than an herb. These herbs have their own properties and chemical properties too that have effects on you. So just understand that. I love you guys. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and go ahead and hit that little notification bell so that you get the alert when I drop new videos. I appreciate my audience and your viewership, and until next time, keep healing.